Hello everybody, my name is Doug Brinks. I am the current president of this group. Let's see, we are the Grand River Woodturners Guild. Do we have anybody new here today? One, two, three. Yeah, do you want to stand up and tell us who you are? How long have you been turning? Anything about you? No? Okay. Can you tell us about yourself? Been turned?
Yeah, I got laid in the spring. It's administrative for 6-7 months.
Okay.
I came to one meeting here early in the spring, right when I first got my laid, and yeah, I enjoyed it. So.
Okay, you're hooked, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Go over here, we have another.
Yeah, 3-4 years.
Okay.
Really enjoy it.
All right, good. Well, welcome to our meeting. For members, we have benefits. We have a sharpening system out back. If you don't have a sharpening system, you should bring your tools in once a month and let somebody help you get some things back on track. We have a library out back. John, are you running the library today? Maybe? You're the only person I have doing that, so. Well, Dave's here today too. We have 2 librarians here today. Some weeks we don't have anybody. We have 2 today though. So yeah, we have a library out back with DVDs and books that you can check out. So check those out if you're interested. We have a supply table out back here. Ken will be running that on the break.
We also have anchor seal back if I get somebody to help more of it.
Okay. Sounds like a messy job. So yeah, we have anchor seal, we have everything that's on the table, we have apparel, so check that out. Right now, members, for the renew and for new members, it's $20, and that includes all of next year. So we're one of the cheapest clubs in town. So check that out. If you're interested in joining, you need to see Steve. Where's Steve? Steve must be out back.
I just walked back.
Yeah, but he tends to camp out on this end of the room, you know. So you can see him on the break, and he'd be happy to take your money and sign you up for our group. I forgot to send out the treasurer's report this month. I forgot to attach it to the newsletter. Our current balance is $11,065.26. I think that's right. I don't know if Dave would know that off the top of his head or not.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't know that?
It does sound very close.
Okay. I think that's all the last statement you sent me.
Yep.
Did anybody have any questions about the treasurer's report? Any questions, comments? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve our treasurer's report as it stands? Yeah, Pete moved it, and Dave our treasurer will support that. All in favor? All right. Moving on down the list. Let's see, we turned pens for the veterans last month. I think there ended up being 3 or 4 of us, or maybe 5. I think we turned 40 pens in a couple hours. So that got donated last week. Of course, now Ken's not here. He's been here all day, so he would know more about that than me. But they got turned in last week because Veterans Day was last Monday. So, how many pens? We had 40 pens, right?
We had 42 pens here.
Okay. Kalamazoo, I know
Smoked us.
they had over 100.
I think they turned in, what, 80? Something like that.
Oh, they said 100 last week in the meeting,
Oh,
so
nice.
exaggerated that. But they've been turning them all year. We turned them for 2 hours.
Yeah.
They turned them for like 2 months.
So
yeah.
with our event, their event, and what we did at the store, we did about 220.
Okay. And that's a woodcraft event. They donate the kits out to, I think, anybody wants to turn, right? Don't they have people that...
There's a couple of special situations.
But anyways, they donate the kits to our guilds, our groups. We turn the pens, and as long as we turn them back in, we don't get charged for those kits, and then they donate them to veterans on Veterans Day. Didn't they do like 1,600 pens last year from the Grand Rapids area?
1,400 last year, so yeah.
So they turned a lot of pens, and that's just Grand Rapids. This is going all around the nation.
Correct.
So it's a big deal. So that's something we'll be looking forward to next year. And maybe we'll get in a little head start on that, so Kalamazoo will move our butts in turning them. So, as a matter of fact, where is the Kalamazoo people? I don't see Fred or Bruce or anybody here. I thought they'd be here.
Right here, we can clean.
Gloating on that, you know. So.
We need more per hour.
30 feet.
This month is our election of officers month. We have two people that are interested, but they're still working out the fine deals, so we might have to put our election off for another month. We do have 4 spots that are opening up on the board, and 2 of the people said they would rerun for another year. So we have 2 openings for sure. So if you're interested in filling one of those positions, come and see me on the break, you know, and we'll put your hat into the ring.
Doug?
Yeah.
Does this take effect the 1st January?
Takes effect January 1st, so we will have to do something next month. So that's why we start this early, because sometimes it takes a month or 2 to round up people. We have 7 positions on the board, plus we have other people that are involved in stuff. The positions, typically what we do is we try to, you know, the board, I call the board is like the bus. We want to fill up the bus first. We have a bus that has 7 seats in it. And then once we get the bus full, January, when we have our first meeting, the board will sit down and figure out who's going to fill what positions. You know, then we'll figure out who's going to drive the bus, and who gets to sit by the window, and things like that. The positions, one of the positions that we've had is communications, and we voted last week to change that to equipment. We feel we need to have an equipment manager who is in charge of our lathes and inventory, who can be involved with when the lathes go out, make sure that when they come back, we got everything back. When they go out, everything goes out with the lathes, and everything comes back with the lathes, and kind of know where things are at. So we changed communications to equipment, so that's a change that we'll have starting next year.
So we won't be communicating anymore?
No more communication. Basically, communications was set up about 3 years ago when we had a website, and a guy in our group that was a website designer was on the board, so we called it communications. And the website never got used. I mean, like 0 hits for like a quarter, and except for me checking to see if it was working. So then we had a show of hands at a meeting and decided that we would dump the website. So we currently membership. Steve Payne does all of our emails. Tom Sampson does all of our newsletters. So those communications have been absorbed in other spots. They're still happening. But it's just the person on the board that has that position doesn't do it. So we're changing that. So we have more people on the board involved with more areas. Let's see. Moving on down the list. New business. Next month is Christmas. We want to do a swap meet like we've done for the last 3 or 4 years, so all the members can bring in their tools they want to sell to other members, and we'll have all of our tables set up. We won't do a raffle next month. We'll have our supplies stuff out, because some people like me will still need CA glue, you know. But we'll have as much stuff set up so the members can have a swap meet and sell stuff. For show and tell next month, we're encouraging them, as we've done for the last couple of years, bring in something for show and tell that you made someone for Christmas. You know, we want to see that before you wrap it up and give it to them. Bring it in if you would, and put it on the show and tell table so we can see what people
We won't broadcast.
What's
We
that?
won't broadcast what they're getting.
Yeah, we won't make that video until after Christmas. I'll put it out so you can watch it and see what you're getting for Christmas. And then typically we don't do a demo at Christmas, but last year people were all around, you know, like, yeah, we should have a demo, you know, we're standing, we're nothing to do. So this year we decided we're going to do a top challenge. And basically our members, everybody here can be involved in this demo. And we're going to give everybody 5 minutes to come up to the lathe, make a top, and spin it on a table. And then we move on to the next person who wants to get involved with that. So everybody who's into making tops, I expect you all to be ready next month to turn a top. So you have to turn it from scratch. You start with a square piece of wood. You can do it between centers. We'll have a chuck up. You can use a chuck. But you have 5 minutes to turn that top. And then get it spin. We'll see whose top spins the longest. Kind of like we did with the other top challenge 2 months ago. Glasgow.
Did we decide, are we gonna bring our own wood, or are we gonna supply the wood?
We'll have some wood here. You said you would supply some
Yeah.
wood. If you give me one of your hunks, I can cut it up into 2-inch pieces, you know. But if you want something more than a 2-inch piece, that's probably what we'll have. If you're gonna do a bigger top, of course, you probably gotta spin it by hand. I don't think you have time to do a string pull in 5 minutes. So, then to spin a really big one by hand is hard to do.
I'll do up some 2
Yes,
by 2 by
Dave.
3s or something.
And if people want to practice at that, we're still needing volunteers down at the museum to turn tops down there.
I was wondering that, because last time I checked on it, the lathe had been broke for a long time, but now it's working.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go down there on Tuesday morning.
Okay. So if you're interested in turning at the museum on their antique lathe, they got a lathe from 1905.
Come talk to me and I'll.
Yeah, see Dave on the break there. It's a lot of fun. I did it for a while. It's just a long drive for me.
I've been doing it for
Yeah.
5 years now.
And you can turn a lot of tops. Kids are gathered around there. You're behind a glass, you're in a glass room with all the stuff. They bought a shop, a Cadillac. I don't know if you know the whole history on that. I looked into it when I was there, but they bought a woodworking shop in Cadillac and moved the whole shop down. And it was ran off the, whatever river runs through Cadillac River. But that's where they got the whole pulley system for that building, because it was all run from one wheel in the river. And so they imported all that into the shop in the museum. So if you've ever seen it, check out the pulley system. The one water wheel ran all the pulleys in the ceiling, and they just put the belt on whatever tool they want. And that's how they run that lathe, with that old belt. You know, and off the old pulley system. And you got a great big wooden lever. And it's a lot of fun. I did it for a while. You turn a lot of tops for the kids watching through the windows, and they hand them out and things like that. So.
Halloween, you turn witches, and Christmas time, you turn snowmen and just give them out to the kids.
Yeah, so it's a lot of small things between center. There's no chalk, but it's a great way to practice on doing tops at like 500 RPMs.
Yeah.
That's about all the faster it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get really good at spindle turning doing that.
Have to make sure your tools are sharp.
Yeah. So if you're interested in doing that, see Dave on the break. He'll get you hooked up with doing that down there, because they always are needed upturners. So that's the top demo. So anybody got questions on that? I expect to see everybody up here next week. You know, we can easily do 10, 12 people in an hour. You know.
We have one lathe.
If we have enough people, we'll drag down a lathe in here. We'll do 2 at a time. So we'd have to have a really tall one for you and a really short one for Ron. Sorry, Ron. But give us the choice to get 2 lathes in here, you know? So we have enough lathes. So yeah, if there's enough people, we'll bring in another lathe, you know? And we'll do that. That'll be our demonstration will be provided by the members. Let's see, moving on down, I guess, unless somebody else has something that I'm missing, we're up to show and tell already. Anybody else got any questions or comments or something that I should be talking about? Okay, let's, Ron, yes.
The retreat for 2020. Currently, we have 36 demonstrators volunteer to take part.
Okay,
Yeah, it's over the top.
there's a mic there if you want to talk into a mic.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can now.
We're up to 36. We're gonna have to sift through this. Barbara Dill has just signed up. If you know Barbara's work, she's a multi-axis woodturner. She started a new series of multi-ax candlesticks. Scott Grove signed up this week. Scott Grove is a professional furniture builder. He teaches inlay in furniture and inlay in turnings. Just a great guy. Karen Fritas from San Diego has just joined us. Jerry Miller has just joined us. Jerry was a demonstrator in Raleigh this year. Not sure what class he's going to teach yet. Just signed up. Barry Todd. How many are familiar with Barry Todd? Oh, good. Barry is featured every year on the American Wood Shop with Scott Phillips on TV. Okay? He's developed the lampshade, the Tiffany lamp. He's become really well known, one, because of the TV show, and secondly, because of this lamp. They're spectacular pieces. Barry signed up. So it's going to be, without question, the strongest lineup we've ever had. Yeah.
What date is that going to
21st, 22nd, 23rd of July next year.
be? July what?
I mean, at this point, I'm
20
starting
what?
21, 22, 23, July. I've not started sign-ups yet because it's just too early. Some of you have volunteered to house instructors and attendees. I know Jeff did, John Barron did, Fred Rainier is, Terry Leapers is. It's helped tremendously because now the demonstrators are volunteers. I don't pay for anything, not any travel expenses, nothing, okay? So this is a huge benefit for them. If any of you live close to the north side and want to house somebody, contact me. It's really got some attention. Yeah.
Doug, why don't you give him the information I gave you on that guy that makes the calls, because every call he makes is turned.
Okay,
He may be interested in coming up with him.
okay. All right.
But this thing's really started to develop. If you haven't received any emails in the last 2 weeks, you're not on the email list. You need to contact me. Almost every week now, I'm going to have information going out. Biographies and syllabuses on the classes. Sign up won't start till January. Haven't figured out a price yet. So get on the mailing list, okay?
All right. We're going to do show and tell. Is this mic working? We need it. Is this mic working? We need to turn up number 1 down there, John, on the board. Check 1, 2. Turn it like halfway up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, keep going. A little more. Check 1, 2. All right, that'll work right there. We're going to do show and tell. So the show and tell table is in the back. If you've got something on it you want to show, pick it up and line up on the side here. We'll pull up here. If you could place your piece down on the lathe here so that it's stable and not moving, we can then move in on with the camera. If you're moving it around, talking about it, like I tend to do, I'm holding stuff, it's really hard for them to get it on the camera for everybody to see. So, yeah, are you going to use this camera? Okay, you need to, are you swapping that? You're working on it. So I will, I should have put that one. I didn't think about that. So this is, I was at the Kalamazoo group last week, down at Kalamazoo. They're Woodturners. They meet the week before us. And Dave Curley did the demonstration. He did a bowl from a cube. And I don't know if you've seen that, but you take a square block and you chuck it up between centers, and you get a bowl with 3 sides on it. The first couple times I seen that, I had to wrap my head around how that works. But so then, and he had made it with a little video in there. You put rings on. He called it a ring bowl. And I thought, well, if you did a little cup on the top, then you could maybe put marble or something up there. I don't know. So that was my version of the. That camera. That camera goes up on its own. So that was my version on the bowl from the cube. So go ahead, Jeff.
The camera's tighten them out on the base of the camera.
My name's Jeff Grill, and I had a really good friend of 50 years that died he's an Englishman, and his wife was lamenting the fact that all she had for ashes was just a little glass urn, and I went, and we spent a lot of time together over the years. He was an architect and a big Frank Lloyd Wright fan. So I offered to do this for him, and so this is a piece that I've worked on now for probably 3 or 4 weeks. It was these are windows from one of Wright's homes that he designed, and so it's been kind of a labor of love, a lot of fun. Okay, I'll speak up a little bit. Anyhow, it was you all know, most everybody knows Ted Lubbers. This was a piece of birch from one of those cores that he had. I had laying around my shop, and it was dry as could be. But anyhow, it was a lot of fun. Wood burned the windows. I just got some images off from the internet. Transfer that onto a sticky back, translucent sticky back, and basically then stuck it, enlarged the images, stuck it on there, and you just wood burn right over it. Ron Campbell showed me or talked to me about how he had done that before, and then just painted them, and there was always some challenges, but it's really been a lot of fun. So I've enjoyed it.
Beautiful.
Any questions?
I'm Tom Henninger. That's a hard act to follow, but it's a piece of chestnut, and I guess the reason I brought it is if you ever get a chance to turn chestnut, it's really a nice wood to turn. It comes off like butter, and it finishes up, and it's got all kinds of character to it. So
That was fantastic. I'm Ron Campbell. I've started working with the new wood, something I've never worked with before. This is Madrone. It's about 35% moisture when I get it. It won't float, okay? You store it in water, and this is the first one I did. It was all dry in the microwave, and it was bleached about 9 times in and out of the microwave, power 1, power 2. I did some leaves, they're flat, I carved them out, put them in with it, and within 30 seconds these leaves just change shape instantly. You just stand there and watch them. That piece won me AAW Tournament of the Week. Then I did this one, which is 22 karat gold inside. Now this is part of a class we learned this year, I guess it was, at the retreat. David Wang came out. David's a coppersmith that does a tremendous amount of work with 22 karat gold. It's really not that expensive. I might have $30 of gold inside there. I painted it first with gold paint in case I missed any areas, and then 22 karat over the top. And this is the piece I just finished. I've never had a piece move that much without cracking. Now when it came off the lathe, it weighed 10 ounces. I kept weighing it daily. It was in a plastic bag. These two were microwave dried. These were bag dried. It took a week. Every day I'd take it out and weigh it. Today, it's a 7.4. Yesterday it was a 7.4. So it's telling me it's dry. And the knot here is probably sticking out almost 3/8 of an inch, maybe even further. And it didn't crack. It's the most fun wood I've ever worked with. This block of wood was $50. So it's expensive, but I have a lot more wood ordered. I've never played with anything that was this much fun. And I think we're going to be teaching this at the retreat.
What kind of wood is that?
Madrone. It grows from North California to Vancouver. Okay. The 2 blocks that I got were 8 by 8 by 10 and 10 by 10 by 14. They weighed 57 pounds. Okay. So the wood is not expensive. It's $2 a pound. It's the freight. Okay. I mean, you think they're shipping 60 pounds and it comes in a little box like this. So I have 3 more blocks ordered that I'm taking to Florida with me to play with.
Sounds like a road trip.
Well, there's a couple guys that make road trips out there. I might even be able to get him to deliver it for me.
following something like that with earrings and bracelets. But I started making earrings after the demonstration we had here. And I've been turning these bracelets for a while. And I make them to fit my wife, and if it fits her, they fit most of the people. But what I finally learned is making two things that look alike is darn near impossible. But when you get down to that small of a size too, and you've got to set them next to each other, making earrings is a little harder than it seems.
Okay. All right. I have a complete wood shop, and I've been asked to make a live edge walnut table for some people. And they already had a sawmill they wanted to take to, they cut the tree down in their front yard. Well, this sawmill has a vacuum kiln, and I can tell you where it is if you guys need it, but he can have this slab dried for me in 2 weeks to 6%. I got there, and he had a massive burl sitting there that somebody come and dropped off to him and wanted him to make a bowl out of it, and they would not understand, he don't have a lathe. So he said, well, if you make me a bowl out of it, you can have it. How big was this thing, Doug? Like,
It was pretty big, yeah. It was
so I called Doug because I didn't want to waste any of it, and he has a coring tool. So we took it over there, I think we cored 4 of them out of it. Doug's got the biggest ones. This is the biggest I can do on my lathe. But at first, Doug thought it was ambrosia burl.
Well,
But,
it looked like it. Not ambrosia, it looks like
but it's spalted, and I wished I put shellac on this, and I used a amber shellac. I wished I had done clear shellac. But that's what this is, and Doug and I spent, what, 3 hours coring the dang thing and bent your tool, but that's what I made. Had it given to me.
So I've been monkeying around with cubes. As Doug mentioned, last month I did a demo at Kalamazoo. These are some candle holders, various designs here. This one here, it's been on my mind for quite a while to do something like this. And I call this Heavy Metal Black and Silver from a Black Sabbath song. So anyway, but they're pretty basic. There's really not much turning to it. But I think they're kind of elegant, so I'll pursue a little bit more along the lines of this as I get towards Christmas and gift ideas and things like that.
How'd you do the red candle?
This one, it's just turned on axis like this. It's very simple. I mean, it's,
Oh, and then you drill a hole afterwards?
yes, now, you could drill it beforehand as well, you know, but I did once that I didn't bring that it was actually more like this, where I parted it off before I drilled the hole, and that was kind of a learning curve. Don't do that. And I knew better. I'd done 3 of them already, and I thought, oh, I missed a step, and then when I tried to do it by hand, it forced me a bit. It just wobbled all over the place. It's ugly. So that's it.
Hi, my name is Brian Newton. Got a couple of larger maple platters that I turned recently. Bought a lathe from one of the former members here. We've been able to step up to larger blanks. So I've had these blanks sitting on my shelf for probably 2-3 years waiting to turn them. I didn't want to come down any smaller. So I thought they turned out pretty decent. I filled some cracks and minor issues with this one with epoxy and some of the mica powder that I use for casting my pen blanks, and just gave it a neat little touch of color to it. So. Gorgeous. Thank you.
I'm Darrell Bell, and decided to play around with the nativity. So,
Speak to the mic.
so just created a bunch of different figures. Since Christ came for, since Christ came for all peoples of the world, I thought it would be good to use a different species of wood for each character. So they represent the diversity of humanity. That's basically it.
And last but not least,
I was hoping you'd come up and hold this stuff.
they have a salad, huh?
This is the towel.
Whoops.
You want me to take one? You got it?
There you go, yeah.
It's a piece of maple that came down, of a tree that came down in a friend's yard. I cut it up for firewood and I saved a few pieces, including this. I turned it green and carved it green and let it dry, and then came up with the idea for the epoxy casting. It would have been a nice idea to leave it so I could have put it back on the lathe to turn that lens. As it was, I hand formed it, and it turned out like it did. I think I learned something. I may have been wise to seek advice on it. Just by point of interest, the owner's name was Len. There's a bullet included in there that he blames on his son, Len. I suspect that Len's father, Len, would have blamed Len for the bullet. The tree's been in the family for a long time. I think there's another piece like this out there somewhere in the pile. I may try to get that.
Is that the bullet?
It is. Looks like a 22.
Yeah, it looks like a little 22 there.
It's interesting how that can turn out to be in the actual surface. It's a little tiny bullet that's probably 3/8 of an inch long.
It's kind of heavy.
You will be super glue if you do that.
Yeah.
There's already quite a bit in it. You could blame me. Any questions on that?
So you turned that whole thing out late?
Yeah.
Does the head swivel off to the side?
No, it's an outboard machine. It's a thing that I put together years ago for things that I did in my shop. And I hand formed the lens.
Do you ever
More
turn
wordplay
small
there,
stuff?
Len and lens and Len.
Yeah, you got a lot of lens going on.
They actually did a TV show on one of those guys once.
Oh, really?
3 generations of Len hunting.
One other question.
One other question.
Sorry.
You said you turned it green. Did you leave it at all in the rough to have it dry, or did you turn it all the way through? Or
I did all of the turning in, actually over the course of a day or two. And then I did the carving that stretched out. I believe I probably bagged it while I was carving to keep it that way. And then I just let it sit in the shop and dry. I may have bagged it for a week or so, and then it seemed to be moving in the right direction. It's relatively stable.
how old was it? You know how dry it was when you started?
It made a puddle on the floor about 15 feet downstream from the lake.
Probably 60-70% at that point.
Yeah, I used a little shop crane to lift it up on the lathe. No, actually I didn't. I bought the shop crane after this one. I lifted the next one. I rolled this thing up a ramp, which gets a little bit hairy. But then it's mounted on a faceplate. Once it's there, it's pretty secure if the lathe stays bolted to the floor and you go slow enough.
All right, no, we got one more. I'm sorry, I didn't see you standing there. Before everybody came through.
Hi, my name is John. I just want to show some my experimentation with platters and carving, which I've never done before. The black stuff on here is a leather dye, and this little box I made was in sort of the style of Molly Winton with the pyrography springs. This, I took a class with Al Sturt last week, and he taught how to use the milk paint and to do carving and using the chisels that Ron uses.
Rotary chisel.
Rotary chisel, thanks, to make the wood. And I learned that this is cherry, and then the milk paint, lime in the milk paint reacts to the cherry and gives it this bronze color to it. So this is just flat black milk paint. So it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. Thanks.
Okay, now that looks like everybody. We're going to take a break. So visit the coffee and donuts and the supplies out back, and then we're going to get done now.